3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mass Connection.
I'm Dubz Glass.
And this is Seriously Stoned. On this week's episode, we got Jasper Newton and Mike, 1/3 of Upstate Gardens. What's up, guys? How are you?
What up?
What's going on, guys?
Welcome to the show. Thank you for helping us get some content up here in the great state of Maine.
Thanks for having us, man.
It's a cold one today. But
it's actually pretty nice. It's pretty nice compared to the last 2 days.
You didn't think it was? I thought it was cold this morning.
I didn't even wear my fur coat today.
All right, well, I guess I'm the odd man out. But
check.
again, thank you guys for coming out. Man, this week, before we even get started, this Oregon Diesel is fucking phenomenal, man.
I'm glad
Thank
you like it, man.
It's like I was saying, it literally tastes like the gas pump smells.
Yeah, it's insane. It's hard. I'm fucking stoned as fuck already.
Yeah,
we haven't even started.
It's one of those ones.
Today. We're already stoned.
It's like you walk into a room, can't remember why you're there, walk back out with something else.
So, what brought you guys? Because you guys aren't originally from Maine.
No.
What brought you guys up north?
Yeah, where are you from? How'd you get here?
I'll go first. All right. Started growing a long time ago in upstate New York with two good friends of mine, Billy and Nick. Some of you guys might know them. As we got more in depth into the industry, we realized that this was something we wanted to do full time. We started looking across the country and realized Maine had a lot of great opportunities for smaller operations.
Yeah.
Startup costs were very little. It was more of it wasn't really an application as far as the caregiver license. Anybody could get one, and it was relatively cheap to acquire it.
There wasn't that gamble of, are we even going to get it?
Exactly. So I moved.
They made it more realistic for people.
Super realistic. Back then, this is 2009, I started looking into it, and we came up, checked everything out. It was really chill up here. It's a lot more poppin' now. There's a lot more culture involved in the state with it, but back in 2010, there wasn't as much going on from the Instagram hype of things.
Yeah.
So we just started off small and kind of worked our way up throughout the years.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think that's Wisely's story as well. I mean, they started.
I feel like everyone in this industry has started at some small point in whatever they're
But at least they make it possible here. 'Cause I know a lot of the other states are making it harder for people that were small growers.
Definitely accessible barriers.
4-liter, 8-liters to even break into they couldn't sell their product anywhere to any stores or anything like that for any reason. And it's great that Maine allows that for you guys to do that up here.
Yeah, we're all hoping they keep it up too. It don't change it as the rec stuff rolls in.
You guys are working hard on keeping those laws the same, I see.
There's a lot of people that don't want to change it, man. It wasn't fucked up before.
I believe that. And before we even get to that, so what got even you here to Maine? You've been kind of all around, eh?
Yeah, I worked a bunch on the West Coast when I lived in Alaska for TGA Seeds.
Okay, cool. Alaska, man. That's pretty neat. Whereabouts in Alaska?
I fished out of Dutch Harbor for 8 years, and then I lived in Ketchikan doing commercial diving.
You actual, commercial fisherman?
Yeah.
Oh, man, we got to totally tell
TV
Kaya that
shit.
he's got some catching up to do. We're going to rag on Kaya, because that's all Kaya wants to do is fish.
No, tell him to find something else to do.
Hey.
It's not as cool as TV.
You hear that, Kaya?
Yeah, he wants to be a tuna fisher.
Well, that's different. I don't know. I've never done any fishing on the East Coast. There's no tuna up in Alaska.
So you maybe fished, and what else in Alaska?
I was a commercial diver.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like salvaging boats, fiber optic cable lay.
That's pretty fucking cool.
I actually met a commercial diver once on a construction site. We had to hire him because he was a union worker.
Mm-hmm.
And he did like 300-foot down dives for like pipelines and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, yeah, you get down that far, you start getting drunk.
Yeah, you get fucked up. It's hard to fucking do what you need to do at that point in time. You also don't get to stay very long, so you got to be quick about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So then you're fucked up and trying to put a bolt in something and not fuck it up.
Yeah.
But you got a camera on your head with somebody who's not fucked up, able
Telling
to watch.
you.
So you can be like, yo, that's not it, dummy. Fucking lift your hand up.
Yeah.
So.
That's
yeah,
insane.
It's crazy.
So from diving and fishing to we are working in cannabis and then out to the East Coast?
Yeah, pretty much. I started growing in Alaska under a 600-watt light in a closet. And
hell yeah, that little
via
point everyone
Facebook
starts at.
And whatnot. I was able to meet a bunch of growers on the West Coast. Then they had me go work for them. Then when I got in a little bit of a trouble in Alaska and had to leave, I was able to jump down to the West Coast, work in some farms.
Sweet.
When I got tired of that, I literally looked online at the Maine med laws and had a potential to rent a cabin that my friend had told me about. So I packed a U-Haul, threw my clones in a cardboard box with a LED strapped to the top, and came to Maine.
Epic, man.
Put 4 lights in a garage that I was renting, and that's
Here we
pretty
are,
much
bub.
how
That's
Newton's
Newton's
Nursery came
Nursery
about.
started.
Yeah, 5 years ago. I didn't grow weed. I just smoked a lot of weed, and weed was really expensive in Alaska. So one time when I was down in Seattle visiting my homie, we drove past a grocery store, and I was like, now that I have that house, I could put one of those in there. And I did.
Awesome.
No more buying $500 ounces.
Necessity-based $500.
Alaska?
That's what it cost, yeah, and it was no choice. It was like whatever showed up on the ferry is what you got. And if you weren't on the list and prepaid, you ran a chance of not getting it. So every week I was like, well, here's my I made a bunch of money when I was diving because you could die. Here's my $1,000 so I could get 2 ounces so that I knew I would have enough fucking weed to smoke.
Because it only comes so often.
Yeah, and I didn't really think twice about it. I was on call 24/7. I would leave for 10, 20 days at a time, 2 months at a time. Like, I couldn't grow anything. I hadn't done anything since I was 18. My buddy had seeds in the freezer.
We got a podcast cat. This is awesome, yo. I hate to even interrupt this
No,
for a
you're
second.
good.
Yo, this is awesome.
First
yeah,
episode
that's it,
we had
buddy.
Spike. Now we have a
Out of
podcast
necessity,
guy.
I ended up in Maine.
Hey, I feel like
And a bunch of
most
people didn't
great
like me
things-
when I got here. I brought a bunch of cookies and shit that people didn't have or hadn't heard about. They didn't like some kid from away growing halfway decent weed.
You diversified the pool of genetics, so...
I don't know about that, but I definitely brought some new shit to the table that some people maybe had not seen. Like I said, that Oregon Diesel, I'm the only one I'm aware of that has it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely changed the.
Not has it at all, but has it at least in Maine. If
I think
not on the
it's
East
changed the
Coast.
outlook on some of the Maine growers where they, stuck to the tried and true strains that they were growing. Where
Let me see that
they're
kick
like,
bump.
oh well, there's something new around.
Oh yeah, no. There's been
Listen
way
to
more
Kick
people than not that have said nice shit about. I'm glad that you raised the bar and did this and that and all kinds of shit. And they're glad that I brought new shit. They're pissed I won't give them any cuts, but yeah, no, not everybody's been a dick. There's just some small-minded people. I mean, it happens no matter where you're at. Maine, Alaska, New York, wherever, Massachusetts. There's people that just don't want change. They don't want anything different. They think they're good at what they do because 20 years ago it was the best. It's
Yep.
hard to let go of that.
And are they still good at what they do, or were
No,
they
or somebody would know who the fuck they are. And they don't. They're just fucking sitting in the woods doing their thing. So,
good? Hey, it happens.
hey, to each their own. You know what I mean? I'm not here to tell anybody how to make them happy. I just want to grow some weed and see some pretty shit.
So right now, both of you guys have all your products in storefronts. Is that
Yeah,
what they're
yeah.
referred to as up here?
Yeah, pretty much.
So you guys
Patients
both have
are
your-
allowed to open a caregiver storefront. So if you have a card, you can go in and purchase a THC-based product.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm in 4 stores throughout the state, and I'm not sure how
Yeah, we
many.
checked out Fire on 4 last night.
Fire on 4 was the first one I was in. Beach Boys, which is their sister store. Origins, which is in Manchester, which you guys may have driven by. I don't know where you were this morning. It's like 45 minutes
I
north
don't
of
even
here.
know. Yeah.
And then I just got into a store in Bangor for everybody up north, which is good for them.
Where's Beach Boys?
South Portland.
Okay, cool. So kind of just like in the same sort of area.
Kind of. It's off to the side. They actually draw a lot more attention from one of the different towns coming over as opposed to the people in Portland going over the bridge. That bridge can be a bitch sometimes. It goes up. You're sitting there for 35 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Oh shit.
yeah.
That's pretty cool. So what's it like being in a store, man? Because I
It's-
know I without really getting into it. I mean, you've probably not been in a store before you were. So
No.
so what is it like going to that and having that be a reality?
It's really weird. I go to the bank now with a company
Fucking
check
awesome.
that has my name on it, and they actually put on the little fucking memo part like what it's for. I have pictures of my phone the other day because I had to take them. I'm not a take money picture kind of guy. But I got checks for mimosa and Gorilla Glue written out in the memo thing, mimosa and Gorilla Glue, and I was just like, this is a fucking trip. Like, I cannot believe this is the world we live in.
What a time to be alive, man.
Dude, I take it to the bank. I tell them I want to deposit. I smile pretty at the girl because she's like, this motherfucker's in here every week with these checks. And I just smile and go, you know what I mean? It sucks to pay the taxes on it, but it's like I told you guys earlier, I'm a real member of society that grows weed for a living.
That's
Like,
amazing.
mission accomplished. I remember being 14 and looking at the high times being like, that'd be cool, man. I didn't think I'd
Right.
ever do it.
It's a real reality
Yeah, and
that's become true, like a dream for a lot of people that's coming true, and it's cool to see that.
And like he said, Maine made it easy. You show up, you pay your fee. There's no you might get
play.
it, you get your
There's
fucking
no
card.
hoops to
do your
jump
shit.
through. It's just straightforward.
Well, I mean, there's hoops to jump through.
It
but
was-
when he was here before I was. It's relatively straightforward to get started.
Yeah.
And-
You get this many plants for people. It's cost this much. Have a nice fucking time.
So you guys are also in Fire and 4 as well, right? Your product?
Yeah, currently we're in Fire and 4 in Portland. We're in Cure Cannabis in Auburn, Lewiston area.
Yeah.
And we're in East Coast Cure up in Bangor.
Oh, nice. Good.
Yep.
So you're a little bit spread out all over the state as well.
Yeah, some of those were, through friends and relationships that we've kind of built over the years. There's a lot more shops we want to get our product in.
Yeah.
I'm sometimes my worst critic over my own product, and everything needs to be perfect. So
That's what keeps you good, man.
with the new laws and everything changing, I'm not trying to. I've never really packaged products. That's kind of been a new thing for me recently, and just trying to get it figured out, not just for right now for medical, but I really want to transition into adult use as smooth as possible. The state's made it not difficult, but they've changed their mind a couple different ways on the way that they want to have things packaged.
And that can cost money, because if you have money invested in packaging and then they wake up and change their mind, all that money you spent's wasted.
Exactly. So,
Yes, sir.
you have to make sure that you have enough space.
And that's not just packaging, like
It's
zoning.
everything.
You know, if they wake up and decide, oh, this zone we've now changed, and you've had a lease since March, waiting for them to change their mind, you still gotta fit. You know what I mean? Like,
Happened a lot.
there's
recently.
yeah,
Some close people to us. That's happened too.
yeah. So it's a lot more than just packaging when they decide to change their mind like that, or to change shit. You know, oh, it'll be in March, and then in March they're like, oh, it'll be in June.
And when they switch over to rec, it's going to be like you're going to have to switch over to metrics and stuff, right?
Well, that
Or-
was
or
the thing.
one of the
It
things.
was BioTracker, and then late December, they came out and said that they stepping away from BioTracker and going to metric. So it's difficult dealing with the state of Maine sometimes. If you look at other states, from the time that they voted on either medical or adult use, it's usually within a year from them voting on it that they're actually starting to sell product. We're way past a year now from
Looking
when
at like
we voted on
4
it.
years.
Yeah, something crazy.
Massachusetts.
So do
isn't
you
any
guys
faster.
plan on opening up your own storefronts, or do you just plan on? Is that future?
We
endeavor?
we have some spots that we're looking at, but we've invested heavily into production and want to make sure that our product's available to the retail stores across the state.
Before you can.
We want to be in Portland, but the city of Portland still, I don't believe, opted in yet, and
No.
it's kind of just a headache. So there's a bunch of other things that we need to figure out. So we'll go after that later.
Yeah.
I feel like working like as a product producer, working with the retail stores, kind of, it's like it works for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, let's play nice in the sandbox. Let's all work together.
I have no desire to open a store.
We know
There's
you're
enough
making
stores.
your shit. Well, let's
I can't
make
supply them all now,
ours.
so I
Everyone
can't open my
wins.
own.
So you just want to work with the select few that you have in and keep them.
That's all I can do for right now. Like I'm kind of capped out on the cannabis I can.
Oh yeah, because
produce,
they
so
cap you on the plant counts and
Yeah.
all that stuff, right? And how
So,
much you can grow.
between what I give to the stores that exist now and what I give to my existing patients, which one of them is me, and as we all know, I consume a fuck lot of cannabis.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That's how it
no,
always
that's
is in my
kind of just how it
personal
goes for
garden.
right now.
My personal garden's pretty much all head stash, and then
Yeah.
the little bit that's left, I'm like, okay, homies, like, what do you need, like, before it's
Right.
gone, like.
Right, and that's just how it goes.
And thanks for paying the electric bill. Is basically what you're doing. So
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
So we've seen that you've been dabbling in some glass lately, in the soft glass studio.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty sick. What glass studio is that up here?
It's Joseph Webster Glass Studio down in Biddeford.
so tell us about that.
Mohawk, y'all know Mohawk.
Yeah.
I hit him
Shout
up and
out
was
Josh.
like, look, yeah, shout out to Mr. Mohawk. I hit him up and asked if he knew any soft glass floors down here because the only studio I knew of was up in Ellsworth where I lived when I moved here. So I knew of nowhere down here. He introduced me to this young lady named Tess who worked at Joseph's shop. I went and met them and blew a glass, something that looked kind of like that, and proved to him that I had some idea of what I was talking about. And now he allows me to rent a couple hours a week at a time to pretty much just fuck around.
Just do what you want.
Yeah, I've sold some shit. I've made some bowls and some shit that people want to buy thanks to Instagram, but I mostly go to just have fun. That's the only time that I get to literally think about nothing else. You have
say the
molten
same
glass on the
thing.
end of a pipe. It's the same thing as you in front of the torch, and that's why I
Yep,
want to set
I
my
say
torch
the
up so I can do it
same
more often.
thing,
I call it
dude.
molten meditation. You can't think of anything else because if you stop spinning that rod for a second to think about, did I water the garden or some stupid shit,
Yeah.
then you got a puddle on the floor. So it takes every moment of my focus to blow glass.
And you get
It's almost like a
you
drug
don't-
trip. Like
you're
you
not
get
in
done
the
at the end,
phone.
and after spending 3 hours not thinking about work, you feel so refreshed, and you can look at some shit differently. Like it's a
Totally.
big deal to me. And
Yeah.
I've always like I got kicked out of a Hawaii National Park for roasting marshmallows in the lava. Like liquid molten shit has always been like. I have giant flames on my arm when I worked in the kitchen. I love fire. Like fire, something about it. Like I don't like shit on fire, but like I don't know, man. Have you ever blown glass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That
all my
fascinates
stuff
me.
is
That was
his
my
own
equipment
stuff.
originally.
Okay.
I used to blow out at Joy Street with
nice.
a bunch of the other cats down there.
Nice.
Shout out Visionary and Sherb and all them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I started.
I've been to
So
Sherb
when
Spot.
when I used
That's
to grow.
the only place I've ever blown anything. He had me make a fucking dabber. It looks like shit.
So Sherb, I've known
Dude, it's
Sherb
horrible.
from before he was even a glassblower. He lived in Wayland. We actually managed 2 stores across from each other in the mall when we were like 15 years old. And,
That's awesome.
but yeah,
That's cool, man.
We've known each other for a while. I've loved glass for a while. I've been involved in it. And when I started growing, I had a bunch of extra free time, and I wasn't really doing much. So I figured I'd take some classes. I went down to Fiamma Glass in Watertown, and it's like $90 a class or some shit like that. And took some Pendy classes, and I got hooked, and I just went out and bought a whole setup. And
I spent $90 to make a paperweight.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to blow glass, but at the time I was like, if that takes the most glass, that's what I want to do. And then towards the end, I'm like, when do I blow in it? And they're like, you don't. It's a paperweight. And I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. But I was hooked from that fucking moment.
Yeah, you get bit by a bug. I had
It is.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, though. Watching the glass and watching it flow from a solid. It's one of the most viscous liquids in the world, and watching it go from a solid state to a liquid state is really cool. Especially Boro.
I had a couple experiences where I like messed around a little bit on the torch. I got, like you said, like made a dabber.
Yeah.
Been on, was on it for like 5-10 minutes here and there. And then I had my homie Messy Glass. Shout out Messy. I was like, yo man, stop fucking with me, dude. Like I'm not an idiot. Show me something that's like actually like substantial. He's
Right.
like, oh, you want to make a bowl? So he showed me how to do it, and
Right.
then he walked me through the second one. And I was fucking sold. I was like, all right, I'm setting up a studio.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's exactly like you said. It's nice to be away from the phone. It's nice to be focused into one single thing and just enjoy yourself, because
Absolutely.
fucking life can get hectic sometimes.
Absolutely.
Especially
my
when
favorite
Yeah,
you're-
glass
as cliche
blowers.
as
Especially
it is
when
to
you're in
grow
the
weed
weed
and blow
game.
glass, I want to do it.
Yeah.
For different reasons. Like you said, you had free time. I have zero free time. I want to make the time
It's
to do
meditation. Yes, same.
it. Yeah, it's that important to my
Well, I
brain
wasn't.
to take
I
that
didn't.
break.
I have that big. I don't had.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, in the days when that's why it started, is because they weren't working a 9 to 5, so
Yeah,
they had extra
exactly.
time,
I did it in a shed. I bought it, like my friend had a shed, and he let me set up my torch and my kiln in his back shed.
That's
and,
what I'm tempted to do. And Mohawk's like, don't, dude, you won't blow glass in the wintertime because it's fucking cold.
Dude,
You
it
don't
gets
want a
hot as
shovel to
fuck
get
in
out
there.
there. And it's the only thing I can think of.
You're
I can't
from
put it in
Maine,
the
though.
basement.
I mean, you live up here. You know how cold
Oh, this
it
isn't
gets.
cool. Yeah, no, I know.
So to solve your cold problem, and again, you're gonna burn more propane. But I got the radiant heaters that sit on top of the tank, like the two, like kind of like the
Yeah, I know what you're
standing
talking
versions.
about. Yeah.
Yo, perfect, because it doesn't fuck with the air. So like the torch doesn't get fucked with it,
yeah.
but your area is still nice and warm.
I might have to do that.
Yo,
There's an
it's-
old chicken coop that's
It's
huge.
worth the fucking
I
money,
might
man.
rebuild the inside of it.
I've
For
been
your
out there
happiness,
3
it is
times.
worth it.
That's very true.
I've been out there 3 times this winter.
I
even
paint
on
a
some
lot.
cold days.
Like I take acid. Like I talk about it all the time. I take acid all the time, and fucking. I
How many did you eat this morning?
2.
There you go.
Yeah.
Breakfast of champions, good man.
Yeah. So like,
For all intents and
I'm a
purposes,
very
for anyone
functional-
watching this, we don't travel with any acid.
That's why you ate
Yeah,
it,
it's
so you
in
don't
my
travel with it.
I travel
Duh.
in my system.
Eat the bag, man. Eat it. All right, good. We're
So
good.
like, I find it like inspirational. Like I paint and shit. Like I feel like I need to paint every few days and shit.
Fuck
And
yeah.
now it's my source of income is just painting and
Good for you, man.
painting leather and stuff. So
That's awesome.
it's fun.
We're about to go take a trip to New York, get him a juki so he can make
Yeah,
these
I've been
bags
making
way
like
faster.
leather bags by hand and painting them and shit, like backpacks,
Dope.
like high-end leather backpacks.
Wow.
That's dope.
Dude's like, I'm gonna do bags. I was like, okay. Literally within like 3 days, dude had the whole bag cut, stitched, ready to be put together. I was like,
And
yo,
you're happy with it,
get
right?
after that shit, dog. I said,
I'm
I'll
not
buy a
working for
bag.
somebody. That's what makes me happy.
Dude, that's all that fucking matters, bro.
And at the end of the day, like
You got enough money for 2 hits of
If I
acid, you
can-
can't be doing 2 bags.
if I
So good
can-
for fucking you.
if I can, I can hustle weed. You can hustle bags. You can hustle anything. Like at the end
For
of the
sure.
day, like,
That's what really makes a hustler is what if you can make something out of something other than a bag of bags.
we have fun with this podcast. You know, we don't make money with it, but
If you'd like to sponsor us, please send seriously stoned podcast at gmail.com an email and we can work something out.
We'll figure something out. I'll sponsor you guys' shit. You guys
But,
need to put on an event.
Yeah, we got to
That's
do a
what we should
live.
do,
We got to
is
do
do
like
an
a live
event.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely down with that.
I think
Very
that
And
would
the
be
Care
good for
Factory
you
is
guys.
cool with that too.
this whole coming up to
have
Maine
you
thing
have
is
you
pretty
made
fun.
it made it over there yet to the Care
No,
Factory?
the only time I've seen this on your guys'
Oh,
TV
dude,
shit.
it's
I've
a
never
cool
been
spot.
there.
You can have like
It's
300
definitely
people
cool.
capacity. There's
Fat
like
capacity,
287.
Still
Yeah.
an event.
Let's do it.
Done.
I'm down.
Let's get
I'm
to it.
down.
Where is that located?
Millbury, Massachusetts.
It's like right on all the major highways in Mass.
146.
So like you can get there from
Route
Rhode
20,
Island,
Mass Pike.
Connecticut.
It's so accessible. Parking's available. Like it's not like some of these places where it's like street parking.
Yeah, that's
good luck.
the. If you can park, you're good.
And they're
You know,
super
like,
nice to us.
art,
They donate that
food.
space to us so we can do our show there every week.
Nice.
Yeah, they were
They're
like,
awesome
yo,
hosts
they
to
saw
us.
us in his kitchen, and we're like, yo, come
Yeah,
over
we used to
here.
do this in my
That's dope.
dining room
Yeah.
at a dining room table, with my dog in the background.
Whose idea
Barking.
was this?
His. Well,
It's really our friend Steve. Shout out Steve, SF Glass.
Yeah, it's about that time.
That was
yeah,
cute.
no, it's all right.
Every single show we shout him out because he's in the hospital now. He ended up, he was working on a farm up here in Maine, and during the summer, and he went home and was home for 2 weeks, and just all of a sudden got sick, went to the hospital, he had an infection, and ended up losing a leg.
What?
And
Yeah.
so
And he's a glass blower, so like it's
It's a shame. He's
kinda
got 2
crucial to
daughters,
stand.
so
Yeah,
we
yeah,
always
yeah.
shout him out. And when we used to chill, we used to go on this app called House Party, where you've seen us all fucking around on it.
Oh yeah.
So he was like, "Oh, it'd be fucking hilarious if you guys recorded House Party every day." So it was, I took it as whatever. So I invested a bunch of money and bought all the equipment and and just fucking we started recording it and just recording knowledge from other growers, from glass blowers, collectors, from everything, and it's
kind of snowballed.
it's fun.
Now we're nominated. We're in a category as
dope.
Bob fucking
Congratulations.
LaBelle. Like I don't know, you guys aren't local guys, so
No.
this is like a
Sportscaster of like legend, sportscaster.
legendary,
Really?
legendary broadcaster.
Wow.
Like his podcast is up for a nomination too. So like it's cool to just be on like the same list as some of these people.
Absolutely.
You know, some of these people have been doing it for a while. Like, dude, we're fucking. I mean, by the time this episode airs, we're probably at episode 13, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like we're new to this, man. So it's definitely been cool to see like how well receptive it's been so far.
Fuck yeah.
And
That's
we're just
rad.
excited to
A
see.
lot
where
of
it ends
people
up.
reach out to us to come on, and
For sure.
it's
Because a lot of people don't know. Nobody knows who the fuck Mike is. Only a few people know who I am. Nobody knew who I was till I started doing this shit. And a
Yeah,
lot
but now
of
you're-
people want to know that shit.
if you walk down in Portland, like downtown Portland, do people come up and see, like, know who you are?
I mean,
right?
once in a while, not like all the time. It's not like I can't go fucking eat somewhere, but I have been out eating where people have stopped me and been like, yo, Jasper, I just want to say thanks. That item 9's amazing. Like, and what am I supposed to say? I'm like, yeah, it's fucking rad, right? Like,
You should ask to sign his tits.
Dude, I'm not. Here's the thing. No, I'm not signing.
You're not signing
it's not-
tits, man.
I mean, maybe I might sign some titties. Let's be real. Let's make them some chick. Maybe we'll see. That's for a different show. Yeah, no. People have stopped me, and it still weirds me out because I don't. Here's the thing. I don't look at myself as a heavily tattooed individual. I see this shit day in and day out. I don't think about it.
You probably forget
Then
a lot
people-
of them are there.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then people stop me, and I used to ask people, like, how did I would intentionally wear no Newton's nursery gear, and people would stop me and be like, how'd you know what I mean? And they're like, dude, you have a giant rose on your throat. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess. Like, and I'd look around and be like, I look around at the other growers, and I'm like, yeah, Mike don't have fucking ink all up and down
I
his
got
shit.
tattoos.
You know what I mean?
all
There's
up in
not.
my cuffs and shit.
Not a whole lot
if
of
I had never
growers
met
with
him,
this
if I
heavy
never
tattoo.
met Mike before, I probably would have never.
Yeah, I'd walk right by
noticed
you,
him.
man.
I try to stay low key.
Yo, and what? Thanks for debut.
It's
you
funny,
know,
I
it's
have
you
Mike's coming out of the
and
closet
Wisely
today.
Hash have all debuted like
Dun,
faces
dun, dun, dun.
on our podcast. So I guess we're your source for breaking facial.
Welcome,
it's
Mike.
really funny is because
Now you're gonna have people stop you at dinner.
I've seen
Congratulations.
people come up to just random people, including myself. I've worn my Upstate T-shirt down in Mass, and people will just come up to you. Are you Upstate? Are you Upstate?
You're like a legend.
it's
So
like-
so many people recognize this,
You
and
guys
when
are
they
legends
finally
down
see
there.
this, and
Yeah.
be like, "Holy shit!
It's
I thought
cool,
he
right?
was some 22-year-old kid covered in tattoos riding a skateboard or whatever they fucking thought it was."
Yeah, no.
Now they're actually gonna be like, "Holy shit! He
Do
just
you-
looks like some kid."
Do you find that you get recognized a lot because you do joints with Jasper, right?
I do. So,
So it's kind of like a meet and greet type of thing.
yeah. If you come
You
into
still
the
do
store,
that?
you buy. I do. We just took January off because harvest is a bitch. Like
Yeah.
I can't always time it every month to have fresh weed. Like I'd love to, but sometimes it doesn't happen. And then we were actually supposed to do it today, but I had previously committed to you guys and Super Bowl. I figured people are gonna be at parties doing their shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it still happens. You come in, you buy a jar of my shit off the shelf, and I usually bring some weed that they don't have at the store, and I roll people a joint because they think it's cool to get a joint from me. I roll
is,
big fat.
man.
Well, and I roll big fat joints. You walk out of the store with damn near a gram and a half, 2 grams of weed stuffed in an
Yeah.
element paper.
Like one of those Rick Roller style joints.
Wow, Ricky
Well,
rolls
those-
some big.
We smoked
fucking-
one. We smoked
We
one
smoked
of those
one
last
last
night.
night.
It was
They're nice, right?
Yeah.
I'm really. Here's the thing.
For
It was a
dessert.
good job.
He's got
man.
it down to a science to put that much shit in a paper and have it burn that evenly.
Yeah,
that was what
And
we were
that's
impressed
what-
about.
Yeah, no, it's not. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I can roll big joints." Yeah, you can, but Rick has spent a lot of
He's
time.
special, yo.
It's like
Yeah.
a sign. He has it
I
down to a
remember
sign.
I was telling the guy at Fire on 4, I was like, I remember Rick like before he had fucking 40,000 followers
Oh,
or
yeah.
however many he had, and
Dude,
then
he
sold
deleted
the,
his
then he
Instagram, like,
sold the
4
account,
times, yeah.
sold the account, disappeared off
Still
the face
got
of the
40
earth.
grand.
Sent me a message one day from like this no-name account and was like, "Yo, man, like it's Rick." I was like, "Come on, man, how do I
Right.
know it's you?" He's like, "No, dude, I swear." I was like, "All right, I recognize those joints anywhere." How
Yeah,
are you?
no.
So yeah, no, that was fire. But no, that's cool, man. And it is nice to be able to interact, and that's why I think these podcasts have had a lot of success because it gives people a look at who's behind
For sure.
what they're consuming,
For
and
sure.
it goes along with not only brand recognition but trust. It helps build.
And it doesn't matter if it's cannabis, if it's the farm down the street. People want to
anything,
know.
like-
if you're consuming it, putting it in your life every day, a lot of people want to know where it's coming from.
At the end of the day, it's right now. I mean, you guys are completely legal. It's not black market. Show your. I mean, let's have fun with it now. Now you guys can market it. You guys can be as.
Well, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's why I'm not hiding anymore, because my buddy Kenny out in Oregon told me people want to know this shit. People watch
Totally.
his Instagram to see his dog and see his shit daily. They don't care about the grow as much. They see the grow. Of course, it's cool. Everybody likes seeing a lot of weed. That's why we're here.
I think
but-
what it is like
And I
somebody
found it with
sees,
Instagram. Post pictures of my fucking food. People are like, "Oh, where is that, bro?" I get people hitting me up from Mass all the time. "I'm coming to Portland. Where should I eat?" Well, fuck. This is where I go. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean you're gonna like it, but I didn't
Yeah.
post it. You know, it's just
Yeah.
people watch it, then they follow you. It's so much, not so much, but there's a lot of brand building going on top of it.
I think
Yeah.
to see
I need people to know who's Newton Nursery is.
when
in
people
the
see
future.
you and other again like even like you know your account and stuff, like when they see the products that you have on the shelves are also what you're rolling up every day. So like you're posting like, "Oh, this is what I'm rolling up," and it's
Right.
the same shit that you're putting on the shelves.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, "Oh, this isn't like my weed man who like smokes the headies and
Yeah, yeah.
sells me the fucking brick." Like,
Right.
you know, granted that's not as prevalent anymore, but
No, but it
still,
happens.
you know, it's
Yeah.
it shows confidence in what your brand is. They're like, "Oh, damn, if it's good enough for him."
Well, there's a lot of different companies coming into the industry right now. There's a lot of people trying to throw as much money as they humanly possibly can up against the wall. And there's always going to be that gap of miscommunication between the people that have the power and what's actually going on in the market. So from somebody that's actually from the market I know what's going on in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So there's certain genetics, certain ways of presenting your product, or certain ways of growing your product that the end user is gonna want. So that's super important, is having the right genetics, having the right processes when it comes to extracts. So it's taken a long time, and this whole Instagram thing is really new to us. It's not my two partners who I've been with for pretty much my whole life in the weed industry. They don't really have. I'm trying to get them to have more of a presence on Instagram and push it harder. Because this really isn't just, it's bigger than just me in particular. I don't know what anybody else has going on, but it really turned into
Jeez.
you know, back in the day with me and my partners Billy and Nick, it really all started off as the prices were so high where we were for high-end product that we just were sick of getting middleman on all this shit. We figured out how to do it. Realized
Trial and error.
Trial and error, years and years and years of trial and error. And we had a nice size setup one time, and after we blew it out one time, I was like, I know this is what I want to do. I'm getting the fuck out of here. And we packed our shit and moved to Maine.
Fire.
So just
Where you could do it.
legally and not have
Look over your shoulder.
Dude,
every
that's
2
a smart
seconds.
move, man. Anyone that's not trying to better their life by doing it legit in the right way.
Dude, America's awesome. Just because
This-
one state has one way of doing something, if you can do what you want 600 miles away,
Do
nobody
it.
gives a fuck about your problem. Don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's
So-
cool. It's cool, and it's neat to see that you're here and that you've gotten to that point where you are doing it.
Well,
I know, like the Massachusetts market, like they say that they want a lot of the black market people to come forward and go like white market, and it's like, well, you want us to do it, but you need.
But you also want us to have $20 million to do
Like-
it too. And I don't know anyone that's giving up $20 million. So
If you do, can you have them call me?
yeah,
See,
for
that's-
sure.
I need like 4.
That's the nice thing about Maine, is that you really have no excuse in Maine. They've given you different options and different tiers for everybody and
Yeah.
any starting denomination to go after.
And you can work your way up.
Exactly.
Like you don't. If you pick one, you can't. You're not like stuck at that.
No, you can apply. You have to apply for that same license that you did the following year anyways.
Oh, so it's kind of like a renewal type of thing
Yeah, you
anyway.
have to renew that every
Are we
single
upsizing? Are we staying the same? Are we going home? What are we doing? No, I like that. Now, speaking of like being in this and getting here and now being at this point, what's the one? And I want to hear from both of you. What's the one thing that's been maybe not even difficult, but that you didn't expect or that you weren't initially thinking about, that now you're like, oh wow, like I wish I knew that when I got started with this?
Jeez.
like in the
Go
paperwork.
first.
No. You want to go first? I don't know. Here's my honest answer to that is I didn't expect any of this to happen. When I plugged in 4 lights in the garage, I didn't think it would ever turn into this. As it's turned into this, I guess the weirdest thing would be, like I said, having checks written to me that I take to the bank, paying my taxes to the U.S. government and the IRS for them to tell me that cannabis is illegal. That part I didn't think would work out the way it did. I don't know. Other than that, it's just been, like Mike said, a lot of trial and error. I mean, it's a living plant. It's not easy. You grow and,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. The whole lawyer legal thing, I guess. I didn't ever think that I would see it. Now that I see it, it's kind of fucked up.
So like
I
the
thought it would
back
be a
end
lot
business
different.
type
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I never thought I would be a business owner, I guess, is a good way to put it. I always thought I'd be growing weed. I thought I'd be in the lights, under the garden. I didn't think it
Working
would
for
be
someone
lawyers.
else's or something.
No,
When
not
you
even
get to
working
the
for
business
someone
part,
else. I
it's
just
like,
never
oh,
really thought
shit.
about, like when
I
I had to
didn't
sit
think
down
of
and
it.
Or
have
you
a
just thought you were
special.
doing it for yourself.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be setting up bank accounts and having lawyers and having accountants and having all of this stuff to
That's
run.
the thing. As a hustler, it's me, myself, and I get it done. I show up, I pay my bills, I fucking get it all done, and it's done.
And
now
I thought that would be.
It needs to be this whole team behind what?
Oh yeah.
What?
Like he
Who are
said,
these
1/3.
motherfuckers?
Like I own the business, but there's no way that I do. You know, if it wasn't for my 2 employees, I would not get this done. People wouldn't get the merch. The plants wouldn't get taken care of.
Shout out to
It
team.
wouldn't free me up to do the next whatever I'm doing. Like, yeah, no, I don't think anybody really, when you get to this point, does it by yourself. Which is another thing. I now have 2 employees. Both of those employees have kids. Like this
Payroll,
last Christmas,
health
like I
insurance.
watched my employees' kids open presents, and I'm like, that's shit that I bought by paying them to do. Like I never thought any of that
It's
was ever going to
rewarding.
happen.
It's
No,
rewarding.
it's cool as shit. Like yeah.
That's dope.
It's
Respect.
amazing. I never thought that it would be what it is by any means. I didn't think I'd be dealing with any of this. I thought it would be as simple as like, this is how much a pound of weed is. Thanks, have a nice day.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm out of weed. Now it's like, cool, I do that to like legally, which is really weird, you know?
Yeah, it's neat though, man. It's
Yeah,
cool.
no, it is. It's an amazing time. Like I said, I pay taxes now. I love going out and having a drink and having somebody ask me what I do. So I
I
can
bet.
look the way I look and be
Yeah.
like, I grow weed for a living and just see how they react to it.
I bet, man.
Dude, when we
And
go to
98%
this,
of them are like, yeah,
So we go to
can I
the-
get it somewhere? What kind is it? This and that.
we go to Walmart all the time because we don't have the luxury of having an ice machine at our house for.
Okay.
So we go fill up shopping carts filled with ice, and they're like, "What is
What
all
do you
this
mean?
ice for?" And
We
like,
go, "Oh, we're
I
making
wear all the
hash."
big hats and shit, so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
people are already like, "Who the fuck is this motherfucker?" Yo. So then they're like, "What's this motherfucker doing in the truck full of ice?"
Right.
And I looked the lady dead in the eyes and I said, "We're making hash,"
Nice.
and she was like, "Hash." I was like, "Yeah, you know, like weed," and she's like, "Oh." All right, and then like walked away immediately. She's like, "I want no more questions answered.
yeah.
I'm out of here. See
Most
ya."
people don't know what to say if they don't smoke weed. You know, they just shut it down. They think it's the devil.
Right. Which says, again, like Mike said,
Mass
up
has
here
a
in the
long
grocery
way to
store,
come
they
still.
ask you what you're growing. Like, everyone up here smokes weed.
Mass has a long way to come still.
Yeah.
I
for
think
sure. I don't-
Maine
I'm
is
not jealous of
definitely
you guys.
very much more lenient than the people down in Massachusetts.
But I
Like,
will say
Mainers.
that we in the Northeast are still lucky as fuck in comparison to the rest of the country. So, you know, I
Yeah,
really can't.
down south they got it rough
complain.
down there. You know, some states they don't even have the.
Back in New York, I got people hit me up all the time wanting me to, do stupid shit that I'm obviously not gonna do.
Yeah.
But it's,
Yeah, some
it's crazy.
rough
They
out
want you
there.
to risk it for the
Are they?
biscuit.
Is New York going like medical?
They are medical. You just have to be dying to
Is
get.
it gummies only? And
That's
shit,
how Alaska
yeah?
was. You had to literally be dying to get a
Yeah,
card.
you have to be dying to get a card and everything. Like, I don't even think you can get weed. It's only like pens, and all
Yeah,
their pens are
and
trash,
edibles and shit.
they're like $150.
Damn.
It's like RSO,
Oh my god.
Ooh.
and they make it so like you have to their batteries that you get, you can only use their pens for.
Which one's
It's
this?
crazy.
The racket, yo, the racket's insane. But speaking of, so the regs and everything like that. Again, like bring it back to the question: what's the one thing that you weren't expecting
Yeah.
that you didn't see coming? If I'm hitting a sore spot, tell me to fucking fuck off, man.
No, you're really not. I probably one of the biggest thing is just
You have an extraction lab at your spot, so that's a C1D1.
C1D1, C1D2. We just got that certified and pushed through the state. That was a pain in the ass. But as far as something that you see is. I don't want to say that we didn't see it because we did see it, but it's just taking better notes than we even took in all aspects of it. Because when it gets down to it, I think where people are going to get caught up in adult use, and I'm not sitting here saying that we have it completely figured out, but I think people are sleeping on it, and getting everything tested is going to be a process. I really see that as being a process. I see that as being a massive choke point for the state.
That's what Wisely was saying.
There's only
Which
two.
is very true.
There's only two companies right now that you can get it tested through. We personally go through both of them, and we're still worried that we're not going to be able to have.
So you're saying we should open a testing lab up here?
There's other people that are looking into it. We've talked to some people that are in the process. I think there's another company. I don't know off the top of my head.
I hear that the
Wisely was
pricing on the
saying that like when
testings,
they
it's
send something
ridiculous.
off to testing, like by the time they get it back with all the results, it's like their
$700
shit's already
or
gone.
some shit.
So it's like,
but it's not even that. We do a lot of testing right now for our product because we're trying to get everything down, not just for flower, but for extracts as well.
yeah.
The way that they're trying to make us do it is going to be very, very
What strain is this one?
timely.
Gorilla Glue.
So I see that being a problem, but a lot of people that have never gotten there, I'm not talking shit or anything, but there's a lot of people that haven't gone through that process before.
Mm-hmm.
There's little things that they could be doing that could be making them fail these results. And I don't think there's going to be as much product to the legal market in adult use as people think.
Because they're not going to reach compliance.
Correct.
If I have to bring my weed to the legal market, I have to learn a new way to grow.
Really? What is
Yeah.
it, like a watt per square foot type
No,
thing?
I cannot use the nutrient line that I'm using now in the
okay.
legal market because of heavy metals and things that Mike has talked about that have already been proven out west that will not work.
Yeah.
His answer is way better than mine. I was all stoned. I'm like, I didn't expect this to happen. He actually had a legit answer. Like, testing is one of the biggest issues that I know of as well. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, oh, yeah, I should have said that. But yeah, no. We're all, if you look at the weed out west, you look at the back of it, and it says harvested in July, sold in December, and you're like, what the fuck? It's because it takes so long to get tested. And they have how many testing
Yeah,
facilities?
that's
Like,
kind of what I was...
You know, people are going to be looking at stuff, and the way that it tests out for microbials is if it shows 100, that's 100 micromoles. People are going to be like, oh my god, there's mold in this weed, da-da-da-da-da. There's not. 100 micromoles is absolutely nothing.
It's like less than the air that we breathe.
You can go outside right now and pull a piece of grass off, and it's gonna have 10,000 micromoles. on it.
Yeah.
You know, so the
it's going
testing.
to have PM on it, too.
The testing standards are
Just say it.
It is.
the testing
Yeah.
standards,
And
are
that's
just
not to justify
ridiculous.
crappy products, but
No.
but it's true,
It's
and
real life.
and a lot of it across the board, whether we're talking about micromoles or anything, like it's a consumer like just like not knowing. It's a consumer just not having an idea, and they see a number.
Moisture content.
Yeah, they
You know,
just
they're
it's,
testing for moisture content. There's just a lot of different.
they're
things.
testing for moisture content.
Oh, yeah, bro. You got to know how dry it is.
Wow.
Moisture content can affect a lot of
Yeah,
lab
in the long
numbers.
run.
Mike, do you feel that that's true?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You send in wet weed, your number's going to be different than if you send in bone dry weed because everything inside that piece of vegetative matter is different. People don't know. People are like, what do you dry your shit at? 60 and 60. Why do you do that? Well, because Jay Plant Speaker said he did it on Instagram.
Shout out Jay Plants.
Shout out Jay.
Here, yo.
The deer fucking master.
That shit's so cool.
You know what I mean, though? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
there's you could have a whole, you know what you could do is just start a whole nother episode about what this gentleman just said. It's 1,000% true. The
About-
testing is going to be huge.
And
You know,
again,
How to keep compliant.
we have a good idea of what we're doing.
Do you have someone that's dedicated to compliance for your company? I think that a lot of companies that have success in this have someone that's really kind of just focused on making sure that that happens.
You know, me and Jasper were kind of just talking about it right before this started, and there's kind of two different ways that you can go about it. Both ways you can fail miserably. Some
Cool.
facts.
But statistically, some have a better chance than others.
Absolutely. So
Oh shit! Thanks, dude. This is dope.
I've been doing this for a long time, and as we went through the process, I was having other people make me edibles or make me concentrates, and there's always a process that I didn't like and I wanted to remove. So I started putting those resources around me and really grew the company to be as fully integrated as possible. You know, I still work with really good people. Like, it might be my lab that we're doing the wash, but Sailor might be washing it. So I
Yeah.
still work with
Shout
Like
out
contractors.
Yep.
Shout out that motherfucker. Hell yeah.
31-legged
Keeper
Scully
filler.
Bam.
Yeah, I still work with really good contractors like Think and Sailor. So but I try to build the foundation for the lab, for the kitchen, for the grow, so we could oversee what's going on. Still work with really dope people along the way, but kind of get an oversight of everything that's going on, because I wanted to keep the product at a higher level.
Yep. That makes sense.
But
the ability to be involved in all steps.
Exactly. At the same time, when you do that, you might stretch yourself too thin, so you just might make sure that you have the right people around you to oversee what's going on. I've had big problems along the way with people that I thought were looking over my projects like they were theirs because of what they had involved. But when you turn your shoulders, sometimes they're not looking out for your best.
You need someone that you
at
can
the end of the
check
day,
on
they're
in 2
still
weeks
employees
instead of the 1 week.
Yeah.
That's how I always think. At the end of the day, that's not theirs. They're not going to care for it like it was yours.
I got some great people that work for me, like Stevie, Julian in the office. Julian kills it in the kitchen. Ricky, Tim, Billy my partner, Nick my partner. It's been a long time coming. Some of those guys been with us for a long fucking time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and you got to expand over the years, which is sick. Start from small and work your way up. And I like how Maine's doing it with like not letting like big giant companies come in and just take over and buy up 1,000 acres.
And you guys are currently actively kind of working on fighting against that too, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of shit going on right now to try and change
Is there
the
something
ideas
specific
that they have.
people aren't supposed to vote no on if they're from Maine, or
I don't think there's a big of a market as everybody thinks in the state of Maine for a big company to come in and try to bring a brand that nobody knows and think because they're going to throw 15, 30, 40 million at it, that they're going to do something better that one of a bunch of people is going to do really fucking well in the state.
I don't think that's what they're thinking. I think in the long run, if it does go federal, is what
I
they're
think
thinking.
they think they're next to Canada.
This is the cheapest land that they can buy. Well, not cheapest, but cheaper than
For exporting and stuff like that. Yeah,
going down
I
to
can see
Mass,
that.
to the more expensive cities like New York and Mass.
I can see that.
Because if they do federal, then it's going to be open up to interstate commerce, and you guys.
I know
You
there's
guys don't
some.
have the room down there.
I
We
know
have it
there-
up here.
Exactly.
I think personally you're right. I don't think it has home in Maine because from what I see alone, the 4 times a year I come up here, no, Maine is like motherfuckers love that they're from Maine. They love to support Maine. They love to support the people that make Maine Maine, and they keep it in house. I feel like I see that. Like there's small restaurants. There's not a lot of chains. Like I think I saw like maybe 2 fast food restaurants, and they were off the fucking highway.
I fucking love Maine. I'll
You know
never
what I
go
mean?
back
Like,
to New York. I can see. I'll be here for the rest of my life.
It's cool. So I don't
Maine
think
is
I
growing
think that
on me
unity keeps that almost like not welcome here, and I think that's cool because other motherfuckers.
I mean, don't
sell
get me
out,
wrong.
bro.
There's a bunch of Brads, Chads, and Tanners that are
Chads and dads are here to play,
setting
yo.
up some serious greenhouses right now.
Hey, yo.
Oh yeah.
And God bless them, yo. If they can do it, good for you, man.
Dude,
Fuck, make sure you pay the
better
motherfucker.
They said they're coming for Jasper. They said
Yeah.
they grow way better weed than him.
And they will. Jasper will be swept under the rug by somebody, I'm sure. You all be sitting here in a couple years and be like, Jasper who? I don't remember him.
Nah, man. That's cool, man. It's
Here's the thing. It's been, again, we were talking about it earlier. It's been, if you look at what's happened out west, a lot of it's playing out the same. So then you have greenhouses and greenhouses full of weed. That for the first one, half of them are run by a dipshit that says he can do it and he really can't. The other half are paid by a man who actually can do it, and him and his team do it. And then they have how many tens of thousands of pounds? What the fuck are they gonna do with it?
They just end up
Nobody
sitting on it,
wants
goes
a bunch
bad.
of why? If you can buy a pound at fucking greenhouse, dep, whatever for $1,000, why are you gonna buy that when you know all these caregivers in Maine that have fire ass weed? So then what are they gonna do? They're gonna turn it into carts, whatever, and then that market's gonna be saturated. Then that greenhouse isn't gonna make any more money. Whoever funds that greenhouse isn't gonna throw
it's a
that much
one and
money
done.
at it. Not one, they'll last for a little while, but I don't think that necessarily is the market to go. But I also know the gentleman who is setting these places up, I'm sure has a man or woman that pays
Has a
him as
plan.
to, yeah. I don't know shit. I'm just along for the ride, see what happens.
Speaking of the ride, where do you guys see weed in Maine or even your own ventures in like 5 years? Do you want to be
get
on a
bigger?
beach? Do you want to be federally massive brand that like is a household name? Like, what do you see yourself?
Like I know the state limits you guys on plant count right now. If they let it go and let you guys go crazy,
Another cat. Hell
right?
yeah, two podcast cats.
And they both love it here. Well,
would you guys want would you want to go giant warehouse? Like if
I-
they gave you guys
I
the
don't.
opportunity to expand to like something?
do not have any desire to do that. I got in this because I wanted to smoke the best weed that I could.
Yeah, you
I
want to stay a
still
small
want to
craft.
smoke the best weed that I can. I
Okay.
pretty much just don't want to be on weed restriction. That may not be adultish. I mean, I have plans. I have things I'd like to do. Do you want to be able to get Newton's Nursery in Florida that's grown? And so, no, I don't think that would ever happen for my company at least. Do I want to be known in Maine, maybe New England, by some kids in Mass and shit? Absolutely, that would be great. But
Cool.
I don't think like worldwide, huge Pepsi style. Like, I want it to be good weed. And again, if you look at out west, I don't mean to keep using that as a reference, but they've been doing what is potentially coming to us for longer.
Yeah,
None of those places with huge things have that great of weed. You know what I
flood
mean?
the market
Yeah.
with shitty weed.
It's no different. I base my company kind of like a craft distillery. Like we could all walk in and buy a $7 six-pack of PBR. You can buy a $16 six-pack of Owl's Head, what the fuck ever is cool this week.
Yeah,
That's
hear
where
you.
I want my weed to be.
yeah, and just like every
And that's
bar,
never going to, you can't keep that quality and spread it that far out.
Yeah.
100%.
So it
But
has
just
to be
like
legal.
every bar you go to too, there's like Budweiser and Top Shelf. So it's,
There, I mean, yeah,
There's an
and
ass
there's
for
going to
every
be,
seat.
yeah, and there's a Medman, and there's another insert name here that will have
Yeah.
that style of weed, that label, you know what I mean?
you just want to be known for the best.
That's not my, I don't want to, yeah.
There's
It's not the best. There's a bunch of people that could, I mean, this man makes amazing hash. I don't know that he wants to be the best. Maybe he does. He'll get to answer that in a minute. I don't want to be the best.
Yeah,
I
I've
just
never
want
seen-
to.
I don't
I
think
don't
I've
want to be a
seen either of you
Budweiser of
guys
weed.
enter
I don't want to be a
competitions.
Walmart of weed.
I don't think I've seen either of you guys enter competitions and try to get bragging rights or anything like that.
I entered one, and
Did
it
you?
was, yeah.
How'd it go?
I tied for first place.
Hey.
Riaz and Randy, the guy that you were supposed to meet,
Yeah.
made some hash for me. It tied for first place.
Okay,
Yeah, not bad.
Take that.
Yeah.
that's not bad.
So.
Hey, you're walking to the bank with checks, dog. You win either
See, and
way,
that's just
bro.
it. Like I
Who
said in
gives
the
a fuck
beginning,
about
I
a
didn't
contest?
think it would ever be here, so it's hard for me. You know what I mean? Is it going to be known in Massachusetts? I don't think so, but it may end up that way. Mikey here's got big plans. Here's the thing.
Oh, what's up,
I
man?
think it's very important in this world to recognize the level that you are at. I am doing well at the level that I am at. This man is on a different level than me. The shit that he is doing and thinking about and all that is way like.
Are you on like a
we're
10x rule type of mindset?
Two opposite ends of the spectrum almost. Like we do the same thing and we love it, but go ahead, Mike.
Thank you for the kind words, brother. I appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying? You fucking are bossing it.
I
It's
have
that simple.
I have a lot of smart fucking people around me that make me sometimes look probably smarter than I am. I try to focus on the things that I'm good at,
I
but
hear that.
the one thing that I think I've been able to reach is a lot of the people that have been in this industry for a long time and really have an understanding of what's going on aren't able to communicate that to the people in power. And I do have some big goals, and I think I've set myself up with the people that I work with in the state of Maine that I'm not trying to be the best or the biggest. I think the biggest tier is 30,000 square feet, and I'm not going after that license for adult use.
Yep.
I'm not trying to be the biggest. I think I'm not trying to make a social brand or anything like that, but I think I have an understanding of the market. Is almost I like to call
Like
it
the need of the market.
the market in the know.
You guys recognize that logo?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So it's
We've seen at least a few.
He's a
crimes.
humble man. Everyone knows who the fuck Upstate Gardens is.
Billy, Nick, and I have worked really hard and worked with a lot of good people in the state and other states that have really really helped put us in good eyes a lot of the time. But you know, I'm state of Maine has been really good to us, and I really don't think it's that hard. Anybody can really come in the state, and even with adult use, and if you know not that much money set up, you know, depending on which tier you're trying to go after, come and set up an adult use. We have some really big goals. We want to go after a couple other states.
Nice.
But it's this is an emerging market like never before, and it's kind of cool to be at the forefront in the state and on the East Coast and trying to go after some of these
other states.
Yeah.
And, I think Maine will allow you to do that because you got to start from the ground up and save up your money and not have to bring in investors to do it.
Yeah,
you guys can do it by yourselves, you know.
Yeah, we had some early opportunities early on that really gave us an understanding of a seed to sale and kind of gave us knowledge of the business that we probably wouldn't have otherwise figured out so early on. So that was really huge to me and my partners.
Yeah.
And we kind of grew after that rapidly, but it's definitely interesting and
you gotta start swimming.
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is, you know, nothing's set in stone. Nothing's set in stone up here. I think, you know, if you're not investing a lot of time and a bunch of money of your own money into what you got going on, then, you know, and we've done that and nothing's guaranteed, you know. The way the market is, you know, it's going to be a bloodbath these next couple of years, and hopefully we're standing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in a double wide with 45 double-ended lights, being like, "What the fuck do I do with these things?" Or I'll never be hot and I'll never be humid. Have a quest in there.
I like it.
That's awesome. Well, we really appreciate you guys coming out. Again, thank you guys for joining us. We always leave the door open if you guys ever have anything you want to plug, anything that's coming up. Anytime you just want to come get stoned on camera with us,
bring my partners
just holler.
back next time. Billy and Nick, they definitely got to come and, you know, people see more
We'll
what's
try to
going
get them
on.
high too.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be good at it.
Yeah, we like to get everyone nice and stoned. So
I'll get them prepared.
It's definitely the goal. Thank you for the fucking bringing out the dank weed.
Yeah, man. Where are you guys going next?
We have our demo we got to record with Chaka.
Yep.
It's going to end up recording at the end of his episode. And then we're headed back to Maine, back to Massachusetts to work.
You don't know where the fuck you're going.
No clue, man. Up,
I
down.
just won't way too much.
I'm
just a passenger on the ride. So.
Then back to Mass to work. I get back to work, man.
Right.
It doesn't stop. You guys know how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
Can't stop, won't stop. But again, if anyone is watching this, go to our link, seriously.stoned on Instagram. Click the link tree. Click the Vote For Us tab. Vote for us, motherfuckers. We're nominated for a cool award. Like, subscribe, share, all that shit, man. We appreciate the support from you
Get
guys.
high.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you
Smoke
guys.
Uh,
some of their weed.
Thanks for having us.
Peace.